Well, hello there. My name is Emmy, and welcome to my Skyblock world. This is the 39th day that I have been in this world. Now, if you missed the first episode, feel free to jump over and watch that if you like. Otherwise, here is what you missed. We started off a little bit rough with absolutely no seeds to start with, no saplings to start with. That looked like a sapling, but it's not. Are you serious? Are you serious? A stick. You gave me a stick. In spite of that, we managed to bridge out to some other islands and began to stock up on what we could, including building materials from a trial chamber that we found early on. Now, I've actually never fought in a trial chamber, so that is my goal for this series after we get some diamond gear. We have a pretty impressive looking mob grinder. We have 2 freeloaders in a boat needing medical attention, and a small tree farm thanks to the outer islands. In the last episode, we left off at a dark oak forest island that only gifted us with 3 saplings. Oh, and dark oak would be so amazing to have. As luck would have it, we did spot a shipwreck nearby, and we're just getting ready to descend on board to see if we could get lucky and find another dark oak sapling in one of the chests. If that's even a thing. I'm not actually entirely sure. Now that we've got some daylight, I think we should be safe to board the ship. Whew, thankfully, there are no mobs down here. The ship has definitely seen better days. All right, let's be something good. Oh, if it was day 1, it would be good, but not so good. Not so good for today. Oh, look, actual use for birch. When I got back home and was emptying my pockets, I realized I totally forgot about that golden apple we got from the ruined portal on one of the earlier days. So we've actually got enough golden apples for our zombie villagers. When I headed back over to tell the fellows the good news, I realized we had some visitors on the top of the mob platform. It seems these days this is becoming the wandering trader farm. I didn't exactly know what those open eye blossoms are. I think that is part of the new update that I know very little about, but it sounded interesting and I was feeling a little saucy, so decided to purchase some. Whoa! After nearly 40 days, those are the first phantoms I've seen, which leads me to believe that maybe it was an elevation thing that was preventing them from spawning, because I did dig out that original island to be a couple blocks slower than what it began as, so that's the only thing I can figure out. I don't know. If you know the answer, let me know in the comments, because I'm actually really curious. In the meantime, I identified a couple of little chicken legs in the mob spawner, so I figured, why not? Let's save the little fella and give him a new lease on life. Kind of like we did with the second llama that we're not going to talk about. Speak of this to no one. Ooh, did you hear that? That was the cackle of a witch, and we need a witch because that is what is going to help us in curing our zombie villagers. And we're totally saving this chicken too. Since I'm a little bit skeptical of how things are going to go in this, let's move our new friends to a safer location so nothing bad happens to them. And for those that have no idea what it is I'm even doing, is I'm going to get the witch into a boat over by where those zombie villagers are, because when the witch throws potions, there's a chance that they can throw a potion of weakness, which is exactly what we need in order to cure those zombie villagers. That way we don't have to worry about how we're going to make a brewing stand and get the ingredients to be able to brew the potion. We will let the witch do the hard work for us. My plan is to try and control this chaos as much as possible by creating a channel for the witch to follow, which will eventually lead them into the boat. So pretty much I'd let myself get poisoned, entertain myself in between rounds, go at it again, until finally the witch threw a weakness potion and infected our little friends over here, who finally got their medicine and were on their way to a brand new life. You're welcome, fellas. Finally, a miracle happened, and he was cured. Oh my gosh, and he passed the bone to the front. I didn't know they could do that. I did keep my eyes on El Capitan up there in the front to make sure he kept his hands to himself. Since things were starting to fall nicely into place, I figured this would probably be a good time to start work on building a platform for our future iron farm. In case I forgot to mention it, yes, I do plan to build an iron farm. In the meantime, I went and grabbed some taters and gave it to the fellas so that they could do whatever it is they do best. And in the amount of time it took me to go make a boat for future relocation purposes for one of these fellas, they already had a little tater tot bouncing on the bed. And yes, those are, in fact, Christmas present chests that you see because at the time of this recording, it is the Christmas holiday. At this point, I figured while I waited for Tiny Tot in there to grow up, I would start working on some of the supplies that we are going to need for our future iron farm. One of the supplies we are going to need is a bunch of glass. So we are going to work on making ourselves some books, to make a bookshelf, to make a lectern, so we can have ourselves a librarian as one of the villagers and do some trades for glass. I was hoping we would get a sweet book deal out of the mix, however, we got smite. But I guess beggars can't be choosers, or is it choosy mothers choose Jip? Well, either way, we did eventually work our trades up to the fact that we did get the glass trade, and that is what it was all about anyway. But seriously, Smite, it is now time for us to venture out because we need to see if we can get ourselves some gravel and some flint. I can see one more little surprise hiding behind us. Ooh, dripstone could come in very, very handy for us as well. But first, gravel. The gravel we're going to need so that we can duplicate some dirt. More on that later. And the flint we're going to need so that we can make a fletching table and get ourselves a fletcher. Trigger warning, I do not have one of those little brushes to brush the suspicious gravel. I think you need a piece of copper for that, and I don't have any clue where to get a copper ingot unless the trial chambers, but we're not ready for that. That's our end goal. So, yeah, I'm just gonna break it. We're all just gonna have to suffer through it. That is an odd place for a piece of grass. I think these blocks will come in very handy. Ah! For a minute I thought that was flint in there, but the coal fooled me. We'll be fine. Well, we definitely stocked up on some gravel, but unfortunately we got no flint out of that. Just a quick pit stop. I continued on my journey looking for either gravel or some more grass blocks. So it looks like we are close to a mini flower forest, as well as what appears to be an acacia tree. So we will bridge our way out and grab some of those supplies. It will at least help the cause. Not gonna lie, acacia is not my favorite wood in the game, but I don't hate it the way that other people do or the way that I hate birch. So I'll go ahead and grab some of these saplings and help myself to all of the dirt that I'm able. As luck would have it, there also happens to be a shipwreck not too far away from where we are at, and I think it would be worthwhile to go see if we can get some treasures from there. Once daylight hit, I boarded the vessel and found one chest that did make it worthy of our time. Next stop was the little flower biome, where we could at least get some more grass blocks and a few decorative flowers to spruce things up a bit. After that was a ruined nether portal that was not too far away. If we strike out and we don't find flint at this nether portal, there are some other gravelly options out there that we can go explore. And it looks like there's even another trial chamber out there that might come in handy as well. But first we will see what treasures this nether portal has to offer, starting with the gold. Yes! That is almost more valuable than gold, as we found ourselves some much needed flint. It might seem like a small thing to you, but when you have such limited resources and you're struggling to get something, it is huge when you finally get it. I'm super happy. I set up a little trading shop for our resident Fletcher, but it still needed one more little special touch. Our little mob farm has produced items that I didn't even consider that we would need down the road, but I don't know, I just think our Fletcher deserves a little bit of ambiance. So, that he shall get. Now all that's left to do is to transport El Capitan over to his new spot, and hopefully he likes it. As we were traveling along our way to his new career path, he started to second guess his life choices and considered his options in the fishing industry, but eventually I talked him out of it and convinced him that being a Fletcher is really where his true happiness lies. But more importantly, it's where my happiness lies because we really need somebody that's going to let us do some stick trades. Attaboy. Now that we've got all of the tricky pieces in place, the only thing left to do is resource gather so that we have all the supplies we need in order to build the iron farm. Now we do need to run out to the trial chamber real quick to grab some more blocks, but first we've got a little bit of unfinished business here. We've got this one villager who refuses to sleep and refuses to work, so I'll just be sending him off to summer camp while the others are sleeping. Sorry. With those unpleasantries out of the way, it is time to head back out to the trial chamber. Now this is kind of our ultimate destination. This is why we are working so hard to get some diamond enchanted gear. But for now, we are just going to borrow some of their building blocks. Oh, but no more of those blocks. That is terrifying. I'm out of here. And that is why we are not truly going in there until we have proper gear. Now that we are safely back home, let me show you the state of things. I have laid out the foundation for the iron farm just to make sure it is going to be properly placed on this platform. I want to make sure we've got plenty of room to comfortably walk around all of the important features of it. And there are definitely some really cool features about it, so you definitely want to stick around for that. But in the meantime, there are a couple more little good housekeeping things that we need to take care of in preparation for the iron farm build. And one of which involves our dripstone here. As you can see on the one side, we've got the water for the dripstone so we can make more of it. And then our empty chamber, we are going to go grab our one and only source of lava that we are currently using for our cobblestone generator. And we are going to put that up there so that we can then get some more lava so we can have some for the iron farm and some for the cobblestone generator, and then we'll even start to have some extra that we can use for fuel. With all of those pieces ready to go, the last thing that we need to take care of is putting that gravel to good use. We are going to duplicate some of our dirt so that we have enough for the top of the farm. You will see that there are a couple of platforms requiring dirt with this build. So all we need to do is place the coarse dirt down and then either convert it to farmland or a path block, and then once you break it, it's back to normal dirt again. Pretty handy. So at this point, it is time to start our very amazing build. This is a design by Aristotle Gaming. I will leave a link in the description. But how this works is the bottom section is where our baby villagers will fall and grow up. In the middle section, that is going to be our iron farm. On the very top section is where the villager breeding actually takes place that creates the babies that fall down into that bottom chamber. And then what you don't see yet is there's going to be a section on the back that will be a automatic potato farm. You could do carrots if you want, but I prefer the taters. So the next thing that we have to do is we need to get... Oh, I forgot that the water freezes. I hate this biome. I really do. But we need to get a zombie in here. That is because we are going to need him for our iron farm. So luckily it is easy enough by going over to the mob spawner and we can grab ourselves a willing participant. I would love to grab Mr. Fancy Pants there. Oh, and luckily he is holding a string, so he should be perfect. I'm sure everybody probably already knows this, but if you don't have a name tag for one of the zombies, then as long as they're holding something, they will not despawn. So after a quick round of follow the leader, I was finally able to get the zombie to go into his brand new forever home. He'll be fine. I mean, at least he's got something to do all day, and he's got his piece of lucky string. On the very top section, we are going to put all of our farmland and plant. In this case, I did end up planting carrots because I had tons of carrots. And hopefully nobody notices that the farm is uneven up top. It won't affect anything. It'll be fine. And we will put the fencing around the outside of that to keep anybody from falling off the edge, including myself. And then, of course, we want to put a roof on it so that lightning does not strike, causing our villagers to turn into witches. And with that, we are mostly, not entirely, but mostly done. And soon this section will be full of villagers ready to work and be picked up by their Uber minecarts right in this corner. All right, with that being said, the farm is now officially finished and working beautifully. With the iron farm done, the next thing we need to do is work on a platform for the villagers. And I've kind of got an idea for some of the design, which is going to require a little bit of extra gravel. So pack your travel bag because we are going to bridge out once again to collect some resources. Why do I always forget what these things are called? Underwater ruins, right? Although technically right now they are certainly not underwater, they are surrounded by air. But in any event, we are going to grab as many blocks as we can fit in our pockets because we will use all of these for the builds. And definitely going to grab all that gravel. I need it to make some concrete powder. You'll see why in a minute. We have far less sand than we have gravel, but we've got enough to do what we need. So now it is time to work on the actual villager platform, which will go right in this area here. And I think I'm going to do a rounded cornered rectangle. So we need to build the platform down one level. So, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I placed the water down like 2 seconds ago. Oh, for Pete's sake. The platform is pretty much done and has been invaded by cats. So I've also added what I'm calling the iron pit. Not because it's going to generate iron, but because the workers in here will trade emeralds for iron. Oh, what are they? Weaponsmith and toolsmith. And the other one, I don't remember who he is. Fred. And as you can see, this is where I wanted that gray concrete floor. I just wanted them to have a little bit of a grungy floor. Well, our next order of business is we need to start getting the villagers moved over to the platform here so we can finally get some trades going and get ourselves worked up to some diamond gear. This is literally the only way I know that we could possibly get diamond gear, because I've only found 2 diamonds this entire time, and I have no idea how else we would do it if not for the villagers. So to you, good sir, I say that I salute you. I thank you for your service. I wish you happy travels, and I will see you very soon. Woohoo! That was easier than I thought it was going to be. So now that I have the villager workforce in place, the next order of business is to collect some emeralds, so that we can finally start doing some trades and leveling up our gear. So for the next few days, I literally did nothing but chop down trees, gather crops, and the best part is, while I was doing all of that, the iron farm was collecting iron like crazy. That iron farm was crucial. Not to mention the fact that it has been really nice to have an iron axe and upgrade from a stone axe. It's the little things in life. So finally, we were in a position to do a lot of wheeling and dealing with these fellas, and they did not disappoint. And actually, even the enchantments weren't horrible. I mean, it wasn't the best, but definitely workable. So finally I was able to get completely outfitted in diamond gear, and it feels fabulous. And in order to show my appreciation for all of their hard work down there, I decided I would do a little extra decorating on the roof of their little shop here. Yeah, it's a little odd, but you know, we work with what we have. I sure wish we had scaffolding. Well, seeing as though we are now decked out in our diamond gear and we've got a little bit of time to spare before heading out to the trial chamber, I figured let's go ahead and make a little bit of a lush platform over here, just so we can kind of cozy things up a bit with a little bit of greenery. I think it would be a nice change from all of the cobblestone and gray palette. I mean, it's nothing against gray. I just really wanted to breathe a little color into the place. And I figured since our laborers were working so hard over here, I would reward them with a few little bits of color to brighten up their day as well. Even though it is nighttime, but, well, I'm sure they'll be happy about it in the morning. Well, it seems as though one of the workers was so pleased with the improvements I made to the property that he decided to do me a solid and sell me a Silk Touch pickaxe. Now, sure, I know there's going to be diamond snobs out there that says, Emmy, it's only an iron pickaxe. But it will come in so handy because now we can make a stone generator and no longer have to cook up our cobblestone, so that'll save us a bunch of time and fuel. So quit being a snob. Now, I was thinking about putting the stone generator somewhere on this platform, probably right over at this end of it. While we're over here, let's take a little peek and see how everything's going. Wow, that is a lot of potatoes that I did not have to farm. That is why this is the best build ever. Now, I've used a ton of the iron, but just to give you an idea, I still got more than enough left. So I'll leave a link to this farm in the description. It's the best one you could build. But for now, I think it's time that we should start building our stone generator. Right after I shovel the driveway. Oh. Even though it's not necessary and it is a luxury item, I decided it would be kind of cool to put some stonemasons right over there, just like that. I added a few extra little touches to our stone generator, and I'll probably change these guys' blocks out once we do some trades. We'll see, but for now, it is down to business. What I'm hoping to get is some colored terracotta. That is actually my entire reason for doing this. I'm hoping for like magenta or pink or purple, something to get some more splashes of pretty colors throughout. Just, I don't want brown and gray and black, please. So I've got a little bit of work to do to be able to keep up with all these trades. Hopefully it will be worth it. Well, as I've been leveling up... Oh, I think that's the first time I've ever experienced thunder snow in Minecraft. Well, anyway, as I've been working my way through the line of Bellas and getting all those bricks, I decided, why not let them live in their natural habitat of bricks? So I swapped them out. But now that we're up to later trades, let's see if we can get lucky. Come on, buddy, make it purty. Oh no! Why would I expect anything different? It's cyan, but it's gray. Let's be real, it's gray. And on my way down the line I went, only to face heartbreak after heartbreak. If it wasn't glazed terracotta, which I will more than likely never use, it was everything gray, like polished andesite, which is fine, I'll use it. Or it was red, which we already have an abundance of, but it's all good. We'll make it work. We have to play the cards we're dealt, so we'll make the best of it. Oh, thanks for nothing. Oh, by the way, I moved the lava farm right over here because as we are heading into the final stretch of these 100 days, I really want to try to start tidying up our living area, and I want to get the platforms as decorated as I possibly can, because this is going to be the snapshot that we leave of this world, and it's kind of our legacy of going from nothing to something pretty extraordinary. It's actually a little bit bittersweet because I'm really going to miss this world. So I've been thinking a lot about this tree. I've been very hesitant to chop it down, although it's really bugging me because it's not centered. But this is the first tree that we ever planted. It was the very first sapling that we got. And so I'm going to preserve it. Now, I am going to chop it down technically, but I'm going to just shift it over. It's going to be all the original blocks, just moved over to be centered, and we're going to create kind of a little memorial of our starting point. So my thought process in this, it'll be easy. Just add one leaf on one side and then subtract one leaf on the other side, and it'll be great. It'll just shift it over. But if I'm being honest, I got confused and I kind of started to lose count, and I don't really know what I ended up with. I did the best I could. Maybe it's better. I don't know. Maybe it is the same. I'm not sure, but this is what we've ended up with. It kind of looks like a Charlie Brown tree to me, but it's all good. It's good. It's cute. Once I finished up our little tribute area, I figured it was time to build a little extra villager hall for our villager platform. I figured we could house some librarians in there. I don't know if we'll really ever have a chance to use them, but I think it's only appropriate that we finish off this platform. In addition to that, it will actually give us a location for one more very special feature that I have not talked about yet, but you will see in just a little bit what it is I'm referring to, and I'm super excited about it. And just like that, our mini villager hall is completed. I think it turned out pretty cute, actually. Now we need to head over to our little memorial here, and I'm going to borrow just a few pieces of the obsidian, and the only 2 diamonds that we have gotten this entire time, I have saved them. I didn't actually have a plan for them, but boy howdy, I've got a plan now. We are going to add an enchanting table to our setup over here. I mean, why not? If we can get one more extra decent enchantment before we go into the trial chamber, and I think our one villager approves. I've not moved the others over quite yet. Oh, dang it, I forgot to grab lapis while I was over there. All right, thank goodness for the sunken treasure ships that came through for the lapis. All right, protection 3 is an upgrade for the boots. So now all that is left to do is to actually head over to the trial chamber. My fear in this 100-day series was that if I went to the trial chamber too early, I would just end up dying and not be able to finish the progress in my world. I mean, let's face it, I am not very good at Minecraft combat. Even with all my upgraded gear, I was still a little bit worried that I would make one fatal mistake and not really make it to day 100. When I first entered, I was a little bit overwhelmed at the amount of mobs coming at me. I mean, I was getting hit a lot. But I was kind of surprised that I really wasn't taking all that much damage. I mean, the poison arrows were annoying, but it really wasn't horrendous. And the mobs seemed relatively easy to deal with. So I wondered, what's all the hype over the trial chambers? And then it happened. I uncovered the immense treasure that the chamber holds. A reward so great that a simple mind can barely comprehend it. And that reward is, well, free chicken, of course. I mean, who doesn't want a nice, tasty fried chicken for free? Okay, I'm sorry. I just thought that was kind of weird that there was a free chicken dispenser. But anyway, I worked my way through the maze of the trial chamber. After fighting my way through the green jello, I managed to get my first trial chamber key. They ended up unlocking loot that was less than impressive. Much to my surprise, it was the clay pots that held the most valuable thing I could have hoped for at this point. It was something I wasn't even expecting to find in there. Oh my gosh, there's actually diamonds in here. That is so cool. And even though it's this late, I know exactly what I want to spend it on. I'm so excited. Okay, I can't wait till we get back home. Woohoo! I think we can finish up here. That is, if I can actually find my way out. This is really kind of confusing. And what better ending to our story could we come up with than to spend one of our very last diamonds on a jukebox? And it seems only fitting that we place it inside of our little villager hall right here. As we close out this 100-day series, I would like to leave you with a little piece of advice before you leave. If you've watched people play Skyblock before, but you've never played it yourself, and especially if you are a fan of the early grind portion of the game, then I highly, highly recommend that you give Skyblock a try. It is everything that you love about the early game, but it's like amplified and stretched out over a much longer period of time. But it is so ultimately rewarding to see how you have taken just a little teensy block in the sky and you have worked and created something that is incredible. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the series as much as I have enjoyed making it. This is probably one of the most fun things I've ever done in Minecraft. And I hope you will join me for the next adventure. And remember, you matter.